also, what could be the potential challenges for strengthening the India-Russia ties? We're already witnessing the 50% tariffs that have been imposed by the United States on India for buying crude oil from Russia.
The challenges will be immense. There are no doubts about it, and no two ways about it. Tariffs already stand at 50%. There's an apprehension it could be increased further. There is an apprehension, and there are elements within that MAGA bloc that are talking about putting sanctions on India, America, people-to-people contact in terms of putting restrictions on the 70,000 plus H-1B visas, which some in America are now trying to call a scam. So far, these are political voices. These are voices of some congressmen, and not coming from the State Department. But God forbid, should they come from the State Department, should they come from elements in and around the White House, then there would be reason to be concerned. And perhaps that's one reason that all these pressure tactics that America is mounting. Ultimately, America also realizes that you can push India up to a point and not beyond. Unless America wants to completely throw out 25 years of investment in this partnership out the window and not care about this. Because there were many voices in India that have traditionally been very suspicious of the United States of America. I mean, if I take you back to the era of the 70s that you read about, that anyone who you didn't like would be branded as CIA agent, and people would be seen as either CIA agents or KGB agents, and that's the way politics also used to be run in that era. But then beyond that, during the 71 war, the kind of language then President Nixon and Henry Kissinger has written about it, used against then Prime Minister of India Indira Gandhi, the kind of threats that America issued to India, and yet India went and split Pakistan into two and Bangladesh was born. But the relationship with America was not on an even keel. But subsequently things started improving, and especially when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister and Bill Clinton was in the White House in the United States of America. So interactions between late Jaswant Singh and Strobe Talbot, that led to relationship between America and India completely changing after the Kargil War of 1999, when President Clinton told Pakistan that he needs to withdraw. Nawaz Sharif on the 4th of July 1999 went running to the United States of America when India had started pounding Pakistani bases, that time, of course, all on our side of the border, but using the Mirage 2000 fighter jets and 155mm Bofors howitzers. Pakistan wanted a ceasefire, but Bill Clinton said, no, you need to go back. And then the relationship started improving. Then between Dr. Manmohan Singh and George Bush Jr., you had NSSP, or the next step in strategic partnership, and then the civil nuclear agreement between them. Then it started improving. After 10 years of Dr. Manmohan Singh, the past 11 years of Narendra Modi as Prime Minister. So whether it's the Obama administration, the Biden administration, the Trump one administration, it just kept going up. The trajectory kept rising, except in Trump 2.0 when it's going downhill. And this is where India has done everything to ensure you can arrest the decline. Now the ball is in America's court if Trump wants to arrest the decline or let it slide further.
Right. Gaurav, in fact, India is not the only nation that is facing the wrath from United States. In fact, United States has also threatened China of imposing high tariffs, although they have got an extension. But can it be said that it is indeed the United States that has brought India and China closer to each other?
Well, India was trying to improve relations with China from Kazan 2024 itself. On the sidelines of BRICS Kazan, India's efforts were that we have to improve ties with China, and China felt the same as, excuse me, Wang Yi, the foreign minister and member of the Politburo, recently said that the recent skirmishes and tensions at the borders are not in the interests of people of India and China. So they too want to improve ties with India, and that predates the American sanctions. But be that as it may, the American sanctions or imposition of tariffs have speeded up that process of trying to improve ties with China. Point one. Point two, because China has leverage, China stopped the supply of rare rare earth material and magnets to the United States of America. And that's the time that America gave China this 90-day reprieve to be able to work out some kind of an agreement. That reprieve, whether that comes or not, whether that agreement happens or not, but Donald Trump furiously backpedaled, and that is why some in America use a term called taco Trump. Trump always chickens out. That's taco Trump. Ultimately, if you stare Trump down, he does chicken out. That's been the way he functions. Will that happen in this case, or does he think that China is an $18 trillion economy, so a $30 trillion economy cannot take on an $18 trillion economy, where America is very dependent on China and not half as dependent on India? That remains to be seen. So, there's intense jockeying that's still happening right now, but India is not buckling under pressure. So some inroads that America seeks into India, except in the field of agriculture and dairy, that's when India says no compromise, but agriculture, dairy and fisheries. But otherwise, India is, trying to accommodate America as much as possible, including having reduced some oil intake from Russia. But Trump wants more, and that's when India drew the red line. You cannot keep buckling under pressure, because the moment you give in to the bully once, then he will repeatedly bully you. India has just made our red lines very clear.